Loss. This happens to everybody, the good and the bad traders. Today's video, we are going to be talking about loss, how to deal with it, how to treat it, and how to recover from it. All today on Young Money Investments. Alright, hey everybody, so in today's video we're going to be talking about something that no one likes to discuss on social media, and that is loss. Everybody from the good traders, the ones that make hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, to those with very small accounts, experience loss in one way, shape, or form. Loss is inevitable. The difference is how you recover from a loss, how you handle it, and just how you go about your daily life and how those things happen. So in today's video, I want to talk about how to recover and recoup from a loss. So whenever we experience a loss, I think one of the big things you need to do is you first need to be able to step away from the computer. A lot of people, when they experience a loss, will instantly think, how can I get this money back? And that is not the way that you should be going about taking a loss. For example, and this isn't probably the best example, but I experienced a loss recently, and that was with ticker symbol ABIO. So I've experienced a couple big losses this year. We're talking like 5-figure loss. Well, MBOT was not a 5-figure loss, but both ABIO and BPTH were both 5-figure losses. Okay, ABIO was on the brink of a 5-figure loss. It was about a $7,000 loss shorting this one. So taking a look at ABIO, it was trading at $5 a share. This had a nice little spike and ended up actually making about $1,000 on this down run right here. So I ended up shorting this and made about $1,000 on this part. I ended up actually covering and then ended up watching this run up and actually ended up making another $1,000 I believe on this downside. I ended up actually riding it through here, did not cover here, but I ended up covering right here in the after hours and made an additional little over $1,000 on a secondary short on ABIO. What happened next happened right here. So on Thursday, I ended up getting in this in the pre-market, ended up writing this down. It was up about $800 and then ended up getting short squeezed very, very, very hard in the pre-market. This ended up putting me down about, like I said, $7,000, where I actually ended up covering. Now, in an ideal world, would I have held through this? Absolutely. If I would have known that this was going to just tank, I would have held through it. Unfortunately, I thought this sucker was going to run all the way to $25 and ended up actually taking a big loss right here, and then an additional $1,500 loss as I tried to long it in the open. And that was my mistake. I'm not a good long trader on momentum stocks. That is not my game. Yet I tried to do it because I was trying to anticipate something, and that is something you as a trader should not do. Focus on your strategy and stick to it. My strategy is not longing these. My strategy is shorting these momentum stocks. So I made a mistake trying to go long on this. And yes, I could have, potentially rode it back up and, maybe got out right here. But again, those are things that are neither here nor there. I couldn't change that in the moment. So I ended up making a loss on this. What I did then was I said, okay, I was okay with it. I dealt with it. I ended up actually getting in DFFN and ended up actually being able to ride this out, swing trading this as I got in right at about 549 was my average entry on this. So not a perfect entry by any stretch of the imagination. 549 or 550 right in here was my average entry. Had quite a squeeze, right? 14% squeeze, but ended up getting out here at about 449 was my exit on DFFN, and had about 4,500 shares. Had a nice gain on DFFN. So these things do happen. Actually, I had more of a gain because I ended up actually locating more shares in the pre-market and then shorted this a little bit more. But long story short, was able to trade this. Now, most of the time, traders are not going to be able to recoup their loss right away, and that's something you need to realize. Whether you leave your computer for a few hours, or whether you leave the computer for a day, or whether you leave the computer for a few days, you need to be able to reset, take a break, recover, because that's what you're going to need in order to just reset and get back to your normal mental state. Usually when you take big losses, it's hard for your brain to compute and actually trade smart like you normally would if you hadn't experienced a loss. Next thing, number 2, best thing to help you out after experiencing a loss is to find a way to work out your frustration. Go on a run, take a class, some sort of exercising class. If you're into yoga and meditation, meditate, do some yoga. Find something that will basically push out those negative emotions through your body. A lot of times, we start building it up and you get in your head as a trader, man, what did I do wrong? What should I do better? You just need to physically let those emotions go, kind of get rid of it. And I know that sounds very cliche, but that is what you need to do in order to get back to that that equilibrium that you need as a trader to be steadily and consistently profitable. Tip number 3, do something you love. If you don't love exercise, if you don't love, physically getting that energy out, go do something you love, whether it's reading a book, whether it's going out to go camping, whether it's going boating with your family, whether it's skiing in the mountains. Get out and do something you love. I think a lot of times we as traders will just let it bottle up inside of us and we focus more on the things we did wrong. Forget about it. Go do something you love. Go hang out by the pool. Go shoot some hoops. Do something to take your mind off of that loss, and that will help you in that process and that cycle of recovering from that big loss. All right, step number 4 or tip number 4 is reminisce about one of your successful trades that you've had recently. Go back, maybe look at the chart setup, remember what you did well about that trade, and remind yourself that you are a good trader. Remind yourself that you're good. There's a reason you're doing this. There's a goal that you have. There is a vision that you have for yourself. Remind yourself that you are in this for the long haul and that one trade does not define who you are as an individual or as a trader as a whole. So think about that trade, go back, take a look at it and go, okay, yeah, I can do this. One trade doesn't define me. And that will help you to be able to wash off those negative feelings of emotion that you are experiencing and feeling because of a big loss that you just experienced. Another thing you can also do is also remind yourself that, hey, if you had this big loss, especially on a company like ABIO or a company like BPTH that just had this massive parabolic spike, you're not the only one that probably destroyed your account on that. There are a lot of people, there's a lot of newbies that went long on it high up, and it crashed down and they lost a bunch of money. There's a lot of shorters out there that blew up their accounts because it ran so far against them that they lost money. If you lost money on a trade like that, there's usually a lot of others out there that also had that mistake as well. Tip number 5, get inspired. Read stories of inspiring traders. Even the biggest names in trading history took major losses along the way. Successful trading isn't about winning 100% of the time, but rather about winning more than you lose. So honestly and truly, while my win streak or my win percentage since I have started shorting is roughly anywhere between 85 to 90% successful, that doesn't mean that it's not okay for you to be successful 60% of the time, 65% of the time, 55% of the time. I know and have seen traders that are successful and profitable even though they only win 55% of the time. The reason they are successful and profitable is that they have learned how to manage their risk. Their losses are small, their gains are large. They let their winners run and they cut their losers very quickly. So depending on your style and your strategy, understand and know that there are others out there just like you that you can learn to be like. So get inspired, read stories about them, go find them on the internet, look at their YouTube channels. There's a lot of other great traders, not just me. Like I'm referring to like some really good ones. I don't think I'm like anything crazy special. I think I'm good, but I don't think I'm crazy special. There are some out there that are making $100,000 in a trade. My friend Rhett Van Leeuwen was very inspirational for me to see someone that had very little experience about trading that took $10,000 and 20 grand in credit card debt and turned it into $900,000 in 6 months. Like, that's unheard of. That is inspiring. And honestly and truly, that's what inspired me to start shorting stocks. So get out there and get inspired. Read and look at stories about traders that are inspiring. Step number 6 on your road to recovery is going to be investigating why that loss happened. Now, this is going to take you being able to go back and investigate and look back through. Maybe it's going to be painful. Maybe it's going to suck. Maybe you're going to feel dumb. Maybe you're going to feel stupid. That's okay. You need to take those feelings though and understand and realize, hey, they happen. There's nothing I can do to change that. Now it's time to investigate and step by step learn how not to make that mistake again. For example, losing that money in ABIO was a great example of me needing to understand float. Do I understand float fairly well? Yeah, sure, I understand what float is. But did I fail to understand that my position size needed, or my risk management needed, to be in accord with the micro float of this particular company? Only having a few million shares in float is what caused this company to be able to parabolically spike in the pre-market. It can be manipulated. Bots can actually control the float of these stocks and make it go very crazy. That is something that I did not fully take into consideration on this trade. Fortunately, I learned from my mistake on BPTH where I didn't cut my loss. On this one, I cut my loss and was able to keep it fairly minimal in terms of not blowing up a large portion of my account, where again, in less than a day, or basically in a day's time, I was able to, it was about a day to 2 days time, recover and recoup all of my losses. Normally, that doesn't happen, and I agree, this loss could have potentially caused me, a week to 2 weeks worth of trading. But overall, that is a small price to pay because the reward was going to be very big. And again, I'm learning. Everyone's learning. These mistakes, everyone makes mistakes. Anyone that tells you they don't make mistakes is lying to you. They're lying to you. It's just, it doesn't happen. So be able to go in, be able to investigate and determine why that loss happened. Ask yourselves, did you follow the rules in your plan? Did you break the rule or make any impulse trades? Identify factors from the trade that could be used to reverse the trade position and avoid similar mistakes in the future. Step number 8, chat with your family, chat with your friends. They will always make you feel better about your choice. They'll make you feel better about your career, affirm your decision to succeed in this game. Friends and family are going to be a great tool for you, that after you have made a mistake, whether you're good, bad, ugly, doesn't matter, friends and family will always be there for you. And so find those people around you, whether they are family or not, it's okay if they aren't. Find those people that will support you and help you feel good, boost you up, because that is really at the end of the day going to really help you to go, you know what, it was one trade. I'm not an idiot, I'm not a stupid trader. I just need to make better decisions, and friends and family around you will help you with that. Those are gonna be my tips, my tricks. That is something I got from Stocks to Trade. I found those steps very helpful and very informative. If you like those, please hit that like button, give it a smash. Please also subscribe if you're interested. If you like my videos, if you find value and have liked kind of watching these videos, please give me the subscribe click. Wow, that was perfect timing. Hit that subscribe button, and like I said, I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video. Hopefully, if you have had some bad trades, this video has been helpful and insightful. And if you have had some trades that have not gone your way, please leave those down in the comment section. I'd love for you to be able to help new traders or other traders out there understand and know that, hey, it's okay if you lose. This is how you get back on the bandwagon and keep going again. So thank you so much for tuning in to Young Money Investments. I will catch you guys in the next video. Talk to you later. Bye.